Okay. What are we doing today? We have to animate a little. Animate a little. You can hear me. This is fine, right? Audio levels are okay. Music is not too loud. Do 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 do. All right. I'm going to reference the rig. We are going to look at how this looks. Da, 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 dee, da, da, da. Animation. Or look at the Ekko rig. Let's see. Can you just click this? That's not what I want. I don't want this screen. Gimme, gimme, gimme. That's just a texture. Remove. Add again. Here's the file. As we sit here and load. Oh, hello. Do 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 do. Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. What's up with the lizard face? This is the Komodo hype. Is that? It looks so. I don't know why it just looks stupid to me, but I guess it's Oh, interesting. Oh, actually, wait, no, that's the new PogChamp. They updated PogChamp to be the lizard one. Is that? That's the That's the updated one, right? Twitch people all decided that the new PogChamp was going to be the Komodo hype one. Okay, never mind. I'll pass that. That's a good point. All right. We have collectively agreed that that's what it is, so I'll let it slide. Anyway, I think what's kind of cool about this, I haven't actually animated Ekko before at work, but this actually looks very, very similar to the rigs we would otherwise use. And funnily enough, this is obviously pulled from the resource that we put on our website a while back, which actually was like basically a rig that we use at Riot, or a rig that we use at work. And interestingly enough, you can see this is IK, and then if I hit this button that we use for work, it switches to FK, which is quite nice. So interestingly enough, even though this was updated, I think, so that other people could download and use it without having to use some distant node script, it still has underlying behavior, which is cool. Anna Wilson asks, are those rigs the actual you got in game, or the setup is different? So this rig that I'm using, let me switch my screen over a second. So I'm not sure if everyone who's tuning in today knows what switch screen, I'm lagging, pain. Let's switch to review screen. Review screen, and we're going to change the review screen to Display capture to the other screen. All right. So for those of you that are not familiar, let's see. Everyone is asking lots of stuff. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Okay, cool. So for those that are not familiar, we are currently they just announced AnimChallenge channel, or the AnimChallenge people just announced. Let me just turn this off and then we can play this quickly. Cool. And so on the Agora website, if you go to assets, you will see that there's a list here. There's a list here of the rigs that you guys can use. Riot's animator team. Yeah. Some of the wording is a little bit interesting, but so the rigs are here, and they actually just compile them into where you can just download them pretty easily. On our website, on the Riot website, it's pretty hard to actually find them and download. I think these were modified to be a little bit easier to use, but otherwise, as I was sort of mentioning, after you download them and then turn them on and open them in Maya. So far from what I can tell, this is actually pretty decent in terms of what we use. Actually, so for example, this root control plus the spine and everything here, and the hands, FK, IK, all of this in terms of like the shapes that we use, it's actually basically almost the same. It's basically 100% the same. So they all start on IK. If you want, you can switch them over into FK, and then just animate in FK. And essentially these are all the same size, same boxes, same everything. Ekko, I do know, for example, it doesn't have face controls, so we'll have to make do with no expressions, but that's okay. I seem to be experiencing a little bit of lag latency, but I'm used to that from streaming, so what can you do? Let me just close a couple things to see if that'll help. Okay. Let's see. So I think today, actually, let me go back through chat. There's a couple other questions, I think. So yeah, in terms of the questions, are those the rigs that we actually use in game, or is setup different? I would say it's basically essentially the same. And you were wondering if they were close with the ones that we were working with, because it'd be good to train with them if someone plans to apply to Riot, if that's the case. So I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking that, in terms of thinking about I guess it's just one of those things where I wouldn't necessarily assume or just rely on the fact that you can animate with a specific rig. No matter what kind of workplace you go to, the rigs will behave differently. Every workplace has their own sort of like standards of practice. So no matter where you go, you're going to have to adapt how you work to the studio. And as much as you're right, where if you get good with a rig that we use, you will be faster and better with them in the future. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be, to me, it's not such a huge priority. Just don't be too focused on that. But yes, in this situation, if you were to animate with something like this, it'd be very similar to what we would be working with at the office. Oh yes, of course. Yeah, sorry. I was just giving my first reaction to that. God's Blade says, Omu, want to do the challenge? Braum sliding down a hill on his shield, maybe. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Out of all the ones I did, I actually did Braum. I did a Braum animation for my test to get into Riot, and I wanted to choose something that I haven't done before. As well as like I think Ekko's a really cool character, so we can try to do something straightforward or simple with him. Because I won't be spending all month on this. I'll be spending about 4 sessions, so I have to choose something a little bit simple, but hopefully in character. Does Riot want to see League character animations for like resumes? No, not necessarily, not specifically. Are you talking about animations with League characters? No, it's not necessary. 100% no. So here's the thing too. If you use a character that actually a lot of people are familiar with, including League or any other kind of IP, the problem with that is that you'll have a lot of baggage and expectations. So it's kind of the similar thing as people who... It's kind of similar to people who do dialogue shots, where they choose an audio clip that is very familiar from a very well-known movie. Then you run into a situation where people already have an expectation or something in their mind, right? That they sort of know from the clip. So it'll be the same thing with the character. If you use something that's very well known or that everyone uses, then you are bogged down by sort of just that association. So if anything, actually, it's better to probably choose something completely unique or different. However, at the same time, if you choose a character that we recognize or is like kind of League oriented, which is, I guess, in this situation, since we have 6 characters that are out, it would be one of those things where if you do it correctly and do it well, then even better, right? So it makes it one of those things where it's like you ride a fine line of it being bonus points versus it being a little bit more distracting. But you know, can't say yes or no really necessarily. And obviously in a situation where you submit a demo reel, people like it, and then they go through an interview and you get a test, then you'll actually be animating with usually a rig that they have, or so that's something that you'll be able to show off when you get to it. I think this is one of those things where I guess my recommendation is don't be too bogged down by the rig or specifically the character. If you guys have an idea that you want to animate, just find something that works or something that will communicate your idea effectively and just do a good job. Good animation is not reliant on the character design or the rig, though obviously it helps because it's connected. But if you have a good idea and you can do it well, then just focus on doing that. All right, so I think today what I want to do is I want to at least plan what I'm gonna do, because this is gonna be a lot more complicated than the Ystra animation we did, or I should say it'll be complicated in the sense that we're gonna be doing camera work with it. So that means a lot of planning is necessary, in contrast to just doing a still camera and then just doing an animation with it. So we have to plan sort of where Ekko's gonna be, what we want him to do, and then where the camera will be, and all of that stuff, right? Soju Gionsa asks, what are we doing today? So we're going to be animating a character intro, or at the very least, we're going to be planning it. And what does that normally mean? So in this situation, let me just open my video viewer. I want to be planning character poses as well as staging locations for the animation that we'll be doing. And for reference, let's look at a couple of things. All right, so I wanna make this taller. And then we're gonna switch to review quickly. Window capture. We're gonna resize this. Okay. Twitch chat. Turn you guys on. Okay. So there's a couple things that we can look at. I think first off, for most people who have already seen this, this is Ekko's trailer for his character when he was first announced. And I think there's a couple of things I want to like pull from this, which is basically I want to do something where he uses his time travel kind of mechanic, hopefully, ideally, right? And then also pulling his string here. So I think, for example, we could pull a pose. This one is very iconic in terms of his time winding ability. But then also it's interesting because he has a lot of, I think for him, obviously his biggest weapon is his bat that he made himself. We can also do something that is related to you know, wind his watch on his wrist. Does he actually have a watch on his wrist? He does a little bit. There's no control for it, but isn't it bad to copy poses? We should define copy. But it is one of those things where copy versus referring to or using as reference. So it's one of those things where certain poses aren't copyrighted, right? But if you take a collection of poses, which then ends up being an animation, and you copy all of them, then it is one of those things where it's like, that is not creative liberty or expression or whatever you want to call it, right? So it's a fine line. You are correct in the sense that it is bad to copy poses per se, with the intent to just copy. But in a situation where you have a character, right? Let's say you're working on a character in a film, and the film has a character that specifically acts a specific way or specifically acts a certain way, then it's important to know that this character will do a lot of things frequently. Will stand a certain way, will pick up things a certain way, right? Like, etc. And even in games or even in just film or just any kind of medium, to maintain character or personality or style, you will always be returning back to similar sort of expressions, similar sort of ways you stand and sit and move. So in that vein, it is actually important to sort of pull from similar poses. But again, if I were to copy pose, and then put in my animation, then theoretically that's not as kosher. So in this situation, for example, if we were to take the animation and him doing his all cool stuff, and then he ends in a pose that's similar to the idol that he has in League. Nothing necessarily wrong with that. Would it be cooler if we chose something different? Yeah, probably. It would be cooler. But again, it just depends on what the scope of what we're doing is. For me, I'm probably going to be a little bit lazy, but we'll see. But right now, I think, for example, what I'm doing here is we're looking at this video and we're basically just looking for things that will help inspire us and how we can take direction, I think, right? So one cool thing, for example, for him is that Ekko uses his bat a lot, usually one-handed, sometimes two. And in this situation, it's also noticeably, it's not a very heavy weapon. So we can treat it like, kind of like a sword. Here, he has it on his back. So theoretically, maybe this is where he usually stores it and he can always unsheath it. That's something that we can think about. Ekko is, oh yeah, or as a bat. A bat's probably a better description because it's not actually a sword, doesn't cut through stuff necessarily. No, you're right. Cool. This one's cool. This jump pose here, it's very graphic. Cool. There's also one thing that you guys can see here in terms of animation, right? He jumps up, his root. As his root is leading as it goes now this way. You can see here, this is still the leading force, and then everything else is coming off of the root. So arms dragging, then it swings forward. And then here, the feet start accelerating, and then theoretically for his landing, the feet will like go here, but then it cuts to the next shot. Cool. So we have bat, and acrobatic. So he's very agile. Technically, he's an assassin, right? I think also there's a really cool, this is a cool graphic thing. He looks a little bit tired here, but I think this is a very iconic thing where it's like open A, bent arm, thing across slung over his back kind of thing. Cool, very neat. And then also in this video, people will likely recognize this section where Ekko does his cool entrance and his cool abilities. Okay, so this is cool too. In this situation, this weapon is glowing, which theoretically maybe in the animation we can do with just some sort of texture change. That'd be kind of cool, I think, to get it like to activate. But also, I think in this situation, you can see that, and what they used storytelling wise is he uses parallel convergence. So I think right here, Ekko uses his like copy of his backpack or something. I'm not sure what exactly this mechanical thing is, but once he enters the field, it creates a frozen time field. So I don't know, maybe we could do something like this because I think artistically it's interesting where it's like then you can have these things or people or objects inside this zone and then you can jump around on them, right? Like that's something that we didn't see in the previous one. So this one is more kind of like more anime or just more like woo fantasy like, and this one's kind of cool too, right? Sorry, parallel convergence is his W skill. Essentially, it's like he throws a device, and if he enters the field, then everything inside gets stunned. In this situation, everything gets like time frozen. So this is neat too. using the thing to do more acrobatic stuff. I think it's really neat. And then also there's this section in the beginning, right, where he uses his entrance actually is, I guess technically him using his ult, because that's him going backwards in time to his location. This is his parallel convergence. His clone copy hits the bat and hits the time object thing, which is going like this into the air. Woo! That's cool, right? So this is cool too, right? I think Ekko for style always has these cool things where if he's like going backwards towards something, it kind of plays up to a little bit of his like his fun character and stuff, right? But then also like the forward and backwards time stuff where, so right now he's facing backwards, but he's like spinning, but he's still going in this direction. Makes him cooler. So I kind of want to do something like that with a W or his ult maybe. But then we'll have to figure out how to do that kind of thing here. Yeah, and rolling for momentum. So having him doing like a jump roll or something to do something is really cool. I know for his E dash, it's the roll first. So that's how that works. This is how we say hello and then, yeah, so Ekko here, this is his W. You can see here for game purposes. It's one of those things where it feels different. But I want to do something here too, where like he has a emote that's pretty cool. Places his thing down here and he does a jump off of it. I think that's pretty neat. And I think from a staging perspective, we can do something like that. There is an example here, I think. If we look at Akali does something interesting here too, where I kind of want to do something similar where she dashes, he dashes forward towards camera with like the blade or something like stuck here. He jumps off of it. Akali jumps off the camera and then jumps down or something. Just to be frank, we do want to keep it so it's 40 frames. We do need to keep it short. So ideally, we can keep something around 6 seconds. Less than 8, hopefully 6. The less seconds, the better. It'll be easier to make it. It'll be easier to finish. But this is already almost 8 seconds-ish, if I am looking at it correctly. What's the frame rate on this? If it's 30 frames per second, if we're already at about 360 divided by 300, 320, 300, it's already over one. It's like 1 to 2. It's already almost 7 seconds, so. But yeah, I think that, so there's an interesting thing here with a lot of the Wild Rift intros where I think there's a lot of them that I really like because the character animation plus the camera are doing things together in a really, really tight manner. Akali, for example, I think the neat thing here is just using the screen space nicely, right? So right here is like she starts in the back, so she's very small. Then as she comes to the front, she takes up basically the entire screen almost, right? But it's also fun because you can see here that she is laterally, like in actual 3D space, pretty far back, and then jumps forward. But then the camera also does something too. Is when she does her fast motion here, the camera does a, I don't know what the term is called, but it changes its focal length here. Ooh. And so you get a little bit more punch to it, right? And the camera is doing something choreographed with the action. And you can see that like it's also smooth. Like a lot of times when you have 3D cameras don't track everything perfectly, and some things in the background, like here will like wobble as you're turning. But the vignette, the blur, the effects, everything, this is cool. Smack in your face, jumps up. And this is something that this is something that I think most people can also learn from, which I don't do as much. But you can see here that she does her action jump, and as she's doing her flip, she does a really quick action to this really fast, and it feels really good in motion. But it's funny because you would never really imagine thinking about using this follow-through action as an antic into this follow-through, right? So it's like a sub-antic into a follow-through that follows a follow-through. But for a ninja, it works really well. And then stretch down. And this entire sequence is basically the same thing as in game that Anthony animated. But then we also have Akali in Wild Rift as KDA, which also is pretty neat. Ooh, look how badass. Okay, so one thing I think that's pretty neat here is this portion when he's running up. Like the camera is moving, but the camera is still very focused on what's happening, so that she is not doing like, oh, going up and down, even though they're panning together. And then even though she does her stop here and then jumps, you'll notice that the camera sort of keeps with her. So it slows down and stops so that she stays in spot and then jumps out. So if you think about it from a graphic perspective, she's running, she's long, and then she stops into a circle, and then she goes into a stretch, right? The camera is supporting that motion without, for example, just like continuing to go without her, right? So if the camera were to continue panning, then when she stops, she's gonna like fly off screen into the back. But it's one of those things where just from an energy perspective, it's very nice to be able to see that kind of motion together. And then the camera switches into a angle that really frames this motion really nicely. Woo. Cuts down here to catch that landing really well. There's some secondary in the bag. And then she does her dance. That bag wiggle when she lands bugs you so much. Oh, does it? Oh, I mean, it does draw the eye a little bit, but I never noticed it actually. That's more of a stylistic thing. I actually am looking more at the hair just because it's a bigger read for me, the orange. But I can see that. Neato. Cool. So I think that's also just an interesting thing that when we look at a lot of the stuff that we see in Wild Rift, there's a lot of different types of camera motion plus animations. The base skins are all a little bit more simple, which I think in this situation for Ekko, just for this exercise, I'm going to probably do something a little bit more simple. Like that Garen one is pretty straightforward. Spin, spin, jump, slam. Something that feels good with texture, but awooga. Catches my eye, so it's like I guess I have to look at her posterior respectfully. True. So here, for example, Jinx does something actually very, very simple for her base skin. She jumps out of the explosion and just lands. Very easy, right? And there's a lot of stuff that you can do in this situation in terms of animation principles to practice and to get correct. You don't have to do anything too complicated. Same thing for this skin. She comes down, but she has a little bit of an extra thing where she displays her gun from her, or the, you know, gun that's supposed to be in the violin case. Zombie Slayer has a lot more acting in it. Ha ha ha, talk, blah, blah, blah. A lot more character. It's a lot longer. Probably takes a lot more time. And her idle pose here is much different. So I think we will try to do something a little bit similar in the sense that if it's short. So with that in mind, let us plan. What is the best way to plan, though? We're gonna have to think about what kind of poses. Should we just do poses first? We should probably do poses, and then I think maybe do a storyboard. I feel like a storyboard would be probably a good idea. But you guys don't want to see me storyboard because I'm a really bad drawer. I am a very bad drawer. But, you know, we can try. Just for the hell of it. Oh look, it's Photoshop. Woo! Would the true damage video be a good reference for an idle animation? Sure, yeah, pull something from that if you want. Like the cool one. Maybe try modifying a little bit, but otherwise that like backwards thing, pretty cool. All right, guys, here we go. Time for some 2D action. Was the process for character intros in Wild Rift similar to the skins and recalls in League? That's a little bit hard to say. Since I don't know. I did not work on any of the stuff for Wild Rift, so I can't say. Okay. Let's see. So we're gonna try some boxes, I guess. Okay, and then what are we gonna do? We are going to... What kind of idle pose do we like? Do we like the one where... he's like... I guess the one where he's like sort of like... Can't move canvas. Zoomed in too much. Do we like the one where he's like standing... A shape with like his weapon like that. That can be kind of cool, right? Ekko. That's not too bad. But again, the problem is I don't know how to draw in any other perspective. So you know what? I'm going to be a noob and I'm going to Pinterest some extra poses. Pinterest. Da, da, da. Let it be known that you don't need to know how to do 2D drawings to be a 3D animator. Although I will say it is more useful. It is helpful. Ta-da! Look, I drew it. It's so good. I'm so good at drawing. But something like that would be pretty good, right? The other option is something like this. Something of these natures. But I think in the end, the idle pose actually is not too important. We can just choose one of these, or something similar, and then see what looks good in Maya. Otherwise, I kind of want to do something. How do we enter? I'm gonna basically do something very similar to the Kali one. I think. Kind of want the weapon. How do I draw this, guys? Here's the weapon. It's like straight into the ground. But yeah. Weapon. Stuck in ground. Does that even look like the weapon? No, it doesn't. But anyway. So the Ekko will be like right here. Hello. And then what do we think? If he's gonna jump and he wants to do his time winder, why would he do his time? Why would he? Because he's not doing anything like a teleport. It needs to go backwards. So maybe he does a cool action and then he just does the winder. I think that'd be kind of fine, right? Let's see, we can probably actually steal this. Put it there. Because in the beginning, we don't want this to be here. I think it would be cool to have him do a roll in or something. Roll in. Oh no, he does his blink. He can do his blink, right? Oh, animate him backwards into the end pose. Yeah, that seems actually kind of cool. I think the problem with that one is that we definitely are going to need VFX and audio to support something like that if he's like running backwards or doing stuff backwards. But I think it's kind of cute. So what we're going to do is we're going to have him jump in, I think. There is so much lag on this thing. Holy crap. Please just give me a little bit of oh my god. Okay. So I'm gonna have him. He's gonna run in a little bit. He's gonna run this way. And then he's gonna throw. Let me do a new layer and choose a new color. Please ignore my atrocious ability to draw. Black. Okay. And then actually what I want is I want the camera to zoom out. So we're gonna do on top of this yellow. Where's my mouse? God damn it. Holy shit. Okay. We need yellow. I'm gonna write down here. We're gonna zoom FOV out. And then he's going to Jesus Christ. Blunk. Actually, I should probably delineate that he's gonna do a roll. Because when he's throwing this, he needs to roll. So he's going to roll. And then here he's gonna grab it. And he's gonna have a cool pose. But I don't know what kind of, I can't draw poses. So he's just gonna have like, hello, woo! Jesus Christ. Blink. Why what direction? And the camera's gonna go push up as we have the character jump. Right to left. I don't know. I just thought it'd be cooler. It could be left to right. Doesn't really matter. I can flip it. not a huge deal. I think for now we're just storyboarding it, so we'll see how it goes. It could be one of those things where we have him instead of being over here, he could theoretically like run this way, run in a U, and then something. It's not too bad of an idea. We could try. I can write down a note. It's like maybe run this way instead into a U and then do this, or go in the opposite direction. Like that. It's possible. I want him to do some sort of spin jump. So we're going to transition into a cool pose that I see here. So here's a cool running pose for you all. Running pose. And there's a cool pose here that's in midair. Something similar would be pretty neat. But we can just like throw it here or something. So after he jumps, does a spin, and then he has some sort of neat I'm in the air pose. Woo! With a big bag here. And I have my sword. That's the extent of my drawing. And then I think this is where I wanted him to do his How does that look? Does that make sense? And I think maybe what we can do is we can do a cool thing where it's like follow, see-through. How does that work? Honestly, I think that's a lot of work. Give me a second, be right back. Okay. Let's use this as a guiding point. I'm gonna save this as a storyboard. But at least we have sort of visually organized storyboard. Visually organize what we're gonna do. All right. Let's see, maybe for fun I can just add the let me add the image. It's our storyboard. Woo! Okay. I have 1 hour. Today's stream will be a little bit shorter because I think my friend group is going to be playing playing Clash again, I think. We'll have to see. But I will continue animating until we see. Mitchell's versus the Machines? Yeah, that movie's really good. I watched half of it last night at like 3 and I fell asleep. I was really tired, but then I finished it this morning. I was so moved. It's such a heartfelt movie. And like, I don't know. It's just their hearts are all in good places. The dysfunctional nature of the family, and then them still loving each other and caring for each other. It's I think many people can sort of relate. All right, guys, let's start with we're just gonna start with an idle pose, and then we're gonna eat into that. So let's try the A shape that we like. Yep, this is for the AnimChallenge. I mean, it's for myself. I'm not actually submitting or participating. I'm just doing it alongside everyone. All right. So actually, what we're gonna do here? Does this have a space? It does. So we have a space here for the weapon back. Is this the weapon back? This is the parent space animdev, parent space FK anim back. What is the parent space? Perfect. So I think for this pose, what I want to do is I want to drive it from this point and not the hand. We can switch it later, but we're going to change the hand to parent FK space. I think we want to make this Ekko, like, if we're going to be doing a Wild Rift intro, we want to make him fun. We don't want to make him, like, super serious and edgy. We're just going to make him fun. So we're going to try to give him a pose that feels, like, energized and, like, relaxed, but also just, like, I'm a cool guy. Let's just have fun. I am lagging like heck. Okay, so that means then in this situation, we're going to want to take the hand and move the weapon to the middle-ish. Dun, 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 dun. We're gonna turn the feet out to give him a more open stance. IK's out. But we're also gonna make it slightly to the right space. Get some asymmetricness. His proportion is slightly cartoony, then realistic, and that's fine. Let's see. Can we get... We should lean him to one side, I think. Wow. He has actually nice looking fingers. I am not used to that. Zemobs Bobs asks, does he have carpal controls in his hands? You mean like the thing that like spread the curl? Yeah, he does, I think. I actually don't use them ever. I just do everything by hand. It's not my thing. Trying to get his hand to really look like it's resting on it. Cool. Let's rotate it even more. I think having him be like very kind of like not straight facing will make him feel a bit cooler. Oh, that's interesting. The weapon FK actually doesn't look like it's centered. Let's look at this at a 0 point. You guys can see here that if I look at the alignment on this weapon, the control is lined up this way, but the mesh is kind of angled. Wonder why that is. Fascinating. Oh, that's because the bind pose is angled to the. No biggie. Who cares? That's fine. Cool. We're gonna try to get a little bit of more character. So what I'm gonna do now is actually put these into his spine doesn't have FK control. Ah, doesn't have world spaces on it. Gee. It's okay. Alright, so what we're doing right now is we're just layering in some S into his spine. Because before it was straight. But now we're pushing his root forward, taking his spine and curving it. But he has hip action going on. Can his bag move? Okay, sweet. Alright, for what we're given, if that seems okay. Yeah, I can live with that for now. We may update this later, but I think as a starting point, that's okay. will admit his face not having any expression is a little annoying. Like having it up and then looking down gives you more flavor, but you know, what can you do? Not much you can do. You want to custom the rig? Okay. We can take that. Okay, so we're gonna have to create a camera. Create camera. We're going to split. Split. Camera. Sometimes I like to just add like either simple eyelids when you have rigs that don't have facial at all. Yeah, that's true. I would do that too myself, but I am really bad at that stuff, so. Why don't I have emotes? Oh, you mean for the channel? Ooh, good question. So, I mean, I have some emotes that I had designed, but I'm actually gonna wait. I had some animation emotes that were kind of cute, but I'm slowly working on something for the channel that hopefully will then turn into emotes later. So that'll happen sometime this year. So that's why we don't have emotes yet. I should have saved the stream that when I was drawing them. I should have saved. Well, don't expect them anytime soon. It'll be a long time. Chiru-kun, hello, welcome to the stream. This is a slightly modified version of the rig that we use, or at least slightly modified version of the rig that we released on our website a while back. So in terms of what I've seen, functionality is actually quite similar. Okay, so this is the camera. I'm going to actually populate some random cubes into this scene. And we're going to give it a color. And we're gonna change the grid to be a lot bigger. 250, we'll do 10, 20. Populate for perspective. Sorry, I was drinking. What's funny is that you're not the first writer who streams who lacks emotes either. Really? I mean, I feel like if someone starts streaming for the first time, it's like emotes won't be a very high priority because you have to make them, and that always takes a long time. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're going to we're going to take okay. Okay, let's save this file. Okay. So we're gonna the camera will be like right here or something for now. And then we want him to start back here. So based on our storyboard, based on this beautiful storyboard, we want him to start in the corner. So something like that. Whoa! Whoa! And then we'll do a cool like what? Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Yeah. so this is what we're doing is we're gonna block out these storyboard poses and then we will time them to see what kind of rhythm we like. But then yes, what I want here is I want this to be like oh, I can scale it. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, anyway. Sorry. So we're gonna do something here, and then we're actually gonna need to also key the camera. So camera, camera, camera. So I think the camera's gonna be zoomed in a little bit here. And turning. And then once it comes here, this gets stabbed in the ground. And then we need to get camera under. Increasing the camera so that we can see it. Okay. So I think that's a good spot for now. But we're probably gonna have to reposition his location. To be more on this side. He's gonna jump up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, then we said we're gonna have him roll, right? We're gonna have him. Okay, just to go over quickly again. So far we've done the right portion. This sword comes in, or not the sword, the bat comes in. We're exaggerating the jump so that he jumps higher. And what we want to do then is shoot him down to the ground, where he's gonna do a roll, which is very classic of his dash roll that he has on his League of Legends skin, League of Legends character. He does a roll dash, and then he can teleport to a location. So let's quickly on this one. He jumps up. Here he comes down. Down. Shit. Sorry. I moved the camera. This is the camera one. So he's gonna come down. But then he needs to sort of come in this. Down. And then he blinks. Zoop. Perfect. Okay, so here we're gonna do a pose. Do a quick pose here, sort of really ugly, but just to get his in position. He's like, I've made it. But since he's gonna grab it with his right hand, we're gonna wanna do the opposite with his other foot. So we're just gonna put his hand on the thing quickly. Turn the feet. Turn the feet. Gonna put this foot forward. This foot back. This root forward. Cool. So it's like something like this. Really rough. And then the camera, I think we can sort of animate on one other pose up. We grab his root. Actually, I might change it so that it's like... I might change it later so that it's not grab. Like, maybe kicks. Maybe I get him to kick the thing. Bizarts. Hi, welcome to the stream. Oh, recently found out about me, and I'm you're totally in love with my work. Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. I appreciate it a lot. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Do you guys think he should do a 360 spin, like this way, going off this bat, or if he should do like a flip? Maybe a flip. What was the most recent project or skin I've worked on for Riot? That was Damwon Jin. With the guitar? Mm-hmm. That was indeed the one. Yep. It's the one with the guitar and the world stuff on it. Or the world's theme plus the new guitar riff on top of it. You know what? I said I'm gonna do a 360, a spin plus a spin, or I asked a spin. You know what? I asked for a spin, whether I should do a spin or a flip. I'm just gonna do both. I'm gonna do a spin and a flip. How's that sound? We're gonna steal a pose that we did from the previous animation, and we're just gonna stick his feet up. Omar, shut up. Jesus. You're so funny. Oh no, he's hot. Oh, appreciate it. Thanks. Upside down? Upside down. We're gonna do upside down, then he should be facing us more, right? What are you doing, Omar? Just lurking? Oh, Omar. Always going the extra mile. Honestly, what are you doing? You're just lurking in the chat the entire time and then suddenly just start dropping. Oh my god. Should his flip be something more interesting? I might have to add an extra breakdown or something to give it more, something a little bit more, but for now I guess it's okay. I wonder, is his Should he actually be doing a pose like this? I feel like his pose like this is a little bit too silly. But I want it to be here where it's like we zoom in onto his face, even though he has no face, and then it's gonna be like. Okay, so here we come up. Honestly, I think here, the focal length, is it the focal length? Okay, so we go 60 focal length here. 60. Okay, so here we need her to Okay, that's actually not too bad. I think we can put in a couple extra poses here. And we're gonna flip him. Flip. So silly. Woo! then this is where we get the camera to zoom in. But not on his crotch, please. Okay, now I need to make sure, is he... let's go back to... let's see. Animation. This thing. All right, just to double check, is every single time that Ekko uses his ult, is it because he did his wind up thing or because he used his swatch? Okay. So here, when he pulls the string, this is when he... That's his checkpoint, right? Okay, cool. Okay, so it is his checkpoint. So in this action then, what we want to do is we want him to turn his wristwatch. So let's put a pose here. It's so different animating to an weird camera. Everything blocks everything. But for now, it's fine. Okay, so we've done all these beats here. Woo! Cool. And then the last key will be Okay. Okay. 140 frames. That's just like a Yistro. Not too bad, but I think we can make do. All right. So one thing that we're gonna do too, just because we need to, is I'm going to add another version of this rig. And we are going to then name it clone. We're going to color it, transparent it. Hello, clone Ekko. All right. Then just for the hell of it, we are going to duplicate some of these cubes for perspective. Cubes. Grid options, we go 500. Okay. And then we're going to sort of do a very brief backwards version of this. So we grab Alright, I'm being avant-garde and I'm gonna be swapping the location of the final pose. Instead of the right side, it's the left side. Okay. Does that make sense, guys? This is so funny. This doesn't make any sense, but whatever. He hits the thing, and then we go back to. Let's try this. So we're gonna copy for now this pose. Then we're gonna switch. To here. And come back to here and we paste. Okay, here. And then for now at least we can copy this pose. Go here. Paste it. No, don't paste it. Undo. Switch. And then paste. No. Undo. Copy. Copy. Switch to this one. And then paste onto this guy. Okay, perfect. And then we're just going to pretend move. All right, I think that is roughly a good starting point for the planning. I think we translated basically the core idea. Timing still needs a lot of work, and we need to author a lot of different poses. Most of the poses are not there. But I think this to me gets the idea across, and I think I'm okay with it. I wonder, should we keep the clone? I think maybe the clone can disappear. Well, just for now, we'll make the clone disappear. Wow. All right, does that make sense? Our storyboards. Let's take our storyboard out here. Yeah, I think I'm excited. The two spots that are gonna be really fun, I think, are like here, really understanding how he's gonna enter and then jump to throw this thing and then roll teleport. I still have to really, yeah, so he's gonna jump. Let me just, you know what, I should probably just put in a couple extra poses here. But it's so hard. There we go. Woo, woo. And I guess we can throw in another. Is this for the AnimChallenge, Omu? I am doing the AnimChallenge, but I am not participating per se. Well, I am participating. I'm doing it alongside everyone else, but I'm not actually partaking. But yes, in this situation, it's more because I have an Anim Jam for my group, for my Discord, and since there's a little bit of crossover, I thought it'd just be fun for us to do the same thing. Will I be part of the Riot reviewers? That is, we will have to see. I am not 100% sure. I do not know all the details. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's exciting that we're able to sort of see other people's work and stuff. I would caution the one thing where it's like, technically, I guess this is engagement with Riot, but at the same time, a lot of what the animators are trying to do, specifically with engaging with people outside of Riot, I think, like, especially with the rat community and whatnot, it's hard to say whether it's Riot specifically sponsored. It's one of those things where it's like our community is mainly just composed of people who work at Riot, so I wouldn't necessarily say that like this I would just say don't read into it too much. It's just one of those things where it's like, I think Riot, and especially the animators and just a lot of artists at Riot, really want to start engaging with like the outward community a lot more, especially with students in education and whatnot. But a lot of times with companies and stuff, that's tricky. There's a lot of legal issues and there's a lot of like public affairs, just like human, like just relation, social media stuff, regulations, all these different things that are very tricky. But yeah, I hope that at least in this situation, engagement between the people involved plus the people who participate, I hope it's fun and I hope people learn from it. So it should be fun. It should be good. Cool. So I think in this situation, what we're gonna do is after this, I'm gonna be actually switching over to play League relatively soon, because we're gonna be playing Clash again this evening. But ideally, I think this is good. I think we have the locations blocked in. We're gonna have to polish a little bit in terms of the camera motion and exactly the placement of everything. But if we get these poses to read nicely and then we can find a background, that'll be great. Get the roll in here, get a little of an effect so you can see that zoom he TPs to the bat, and then author a couple extra poses to get this to feel good. Character acting here to do the twist on the wristwatch. I think maybe there's a situation where I can figure out a better staging for this, because right now this doesn't really look very graphic. I think maybe I can do something a little more interesting. And then I'm going to actually do something here where we're going to try to mimic the cinematic that we saw, where the camera's going through multiple of these as opposed to these animating backwards. We're just gonna like have poses of time and our camera's gonna scroll through a lot of the ones that we saw. So that'll be interesting. I'll have to put that in, and then we're gonna have to figure out transition to get into this pose. But then otherwise that's pretty straightforward. Like, I think we have a plan here, and I think we like it. I like it at least. And it has enough interest, camera work, and then it has something that's like a couple of things that are very Ekko. And yeah, that'll be neat. I think I'm a little bit worried about the camera work from going backwards. I need to figure out what looks best going backwards. But otherwise, it'll be cool. Yeah, I think changing the FOV would be pretty good here too. I did a little bit of the pull out. This is pulled in, pulled out a little bit. You can see from the relationship of these blocks. But I can definitely polish it up. I think right now it's a little bit hard to tell just because everything isn't blocked. Once I spline everything a little bit, then it'll be easier to tell, and we can make changes there. But otherwise, this is cool, and I think that covers the planning stage. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me for this afternoon of animating. It was a little bit less animating just because clashes this weekend, but I think we had fun looking at reference, looking at some of my attempts to storyboard this out. But I don't know, even if you're bad at drawing like me, like if you can plan it out and you're pretty confident with what you like, then I think it's pretty good, right? It at least helps you organize your head a little bit and give you a framework. So I don't do this too much, the storyboarding part, because at least for work, I don't have the character moving around very much. It has to stay inside a circle. So this was actually quite fun and interesting. So I think for now, at least, I'm pretty happy with sort of how everything is set up. Next week, when I come back, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. PDT on Sunday, we will basically go through a lot of the details of actual poses, a little bit of the blocking plus side of like making sure that we have everything that we need before we go into spline. And yeah, good luck to all of you who are participating. It should be fun. Are interns allowed to participate? I guess I don't know what the rules are. Oh, there are my friends. Hang on a sec. Let me mute them for a minute.
He's muting us.
He hates us. Hey! I need to wrap up. I need to wrap up this section of the stream. Give me a second. I guess I don't know. So it depends. I don't know exactly which. Yeah, so like for example, I'm just doing this, but I'm not participating. I'm doing it because I run an anim jam for my Discord every month, and I just want to animate on the offside, on the outside of work. So I'm just animating alongside, and hopefully people will then find interest in participating. But yes, I am not actually submitting anything. So interns, if you're asking, if you're an intern at Riot, then I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit tricky. But otherwise, interns are interns. I think interns anywhere else can do whatever they want. Yeah, that's good too. This is good advertising. I'm advertising the AnimChallenge, so not sponsored, by the way, but that's fine. So next week we will return and we will be looking to do blocking plus to see how we get ourselves ready for spline. And then we'll get into the nitty gritty of everything. Yeah. All right. I'll catch you guys all next week. Thank you.